Hey guys. Oh boy. Let me just move my microphone. So it's been a little bit of a party trying to get everything set up. I got a new router last weekend because mine's been kind of on the fritz. And the wireless on it isn't letting me broadcast my phone like I normally do. So I fought with that. Not a big deal. Then I downloaded the patch content, which apparently doesn't seem to be out, which is really confusing because it is Tuesday, past 8 p.m. PDT. Where's our patch? Like maybe it's there and it's just two events running at the same time? You know what? I know what the problem was. So, earlier was... Okay. It's been a misunderstanding. Don't worry, I'm just stupid. So about 30 minutes ago, I downloaded the patch content onto my phone. So when the stream came up, I wouldn't have to wrestle with anything, right? I got the 24 megabyte download. All's good. As soon as I finished downloading it, I closed the app so I wouldn't get the pop-ups, you know, because I always like opening up on that, so you guys know that I'm looking at it for the first time and I didn't pop in while you weren't looking. It looks like somehow that got triggered, so when I hopped on for the first time, none of the pop-ups I'm used to came up, and I was like, what's going on here? But no, the banner has changed. We do have the new pilots, we do have the new suits and all that. I just didn't get the really nice pop-ups that I'm used to, so don't mind me, guys. Just doing dumb stuff as I normally do. Anyways, as always with this, we're going to go in a very set order. We're going to do the welfare, we're going to do the event shop, we're going to do the gacha, then we're going to take a look at the event blueprints if we didn't look at them beforehand, Twitter videos, alterations, and then I hop into bed and sleep. So that's seems like a pretty good order to me. Don't know about you guys. Anyways, let's get cracking. So this week is a Sea Destiny event. We're getting the Gouf Ignited, which I find really interesting, because the Gouf is just like a sleeker Zaku. You just sleep right now. Man, like, you don't even know. That's why the stream started so late today, actually, is, I thought today was Monday, not Tuesday, and at about 10 to 11, I got a DM, and someone's like, yeah, hey, are you not doing your stream tonight? And I was like, what do you mean? It's a Monday. Double check the calendar. Shit. Today's been a rough day. Alright, so we'll take a look at the Gouf Ignited. This is no Zaku. Cute. Alright. With power attribute, recover 10 armor. So in the current game, with all the features, all the different modes, this is literally worthless. I don't know if we're going to get some kind of special Inferno challenge set or something in the future where you have 1 HP or you have, like, you know, 100 HP or something as a cap and damage values you change. This might be useful then, but I'm not going to try judging it on that because that's the only reason all those flat damage boost traits in the X skills became useful, is because we had that one single mission where they were useful. So I'm not going to really change how I talk about things for that. But on that note, I did actually manage to clear all the challenges. That was fun. It's good in my teeth. Alright, numerically. Really nothing that exciting. It has kind of average stats for a shot head. High mobility for urban. The interesting thing with the Gouf Ignited, it was kind of a mid-range engagement suit. It had access to a good amount of melee weaponry, had access to a good beam rifle, had mobility, and it had that whip. Now, it's an interesting suit. It looks like it doesn't know what it wants to do in this game. So, anyways, high mobility for urban. They're tags that are very workable. You can make something out of them. High mobility for sure for urban. I'm not a big fan of the 4 line of tags. But, you know, each to their own. With Saber category equipped, EX skill piercing boosted. So EX skill piercing is how much damage is going to ignore, or rather, how much of your enemy's defenses and resistances are ignored when damage is applied. So maybe you want to go for full pierce, maybe you don't, whatever. But I'm not the biggest fan of this, much like the previous trait. I still think people would be better off getting some kind of EX skill power boost, cooldown reduction, something like that, you know? Okay, stat-wise. Okay, so we're a little different here. Now remember, this is a welfare, so we have much lower expectations for its stat ceiling. With that in mind, we're looking at almost 1,000 shot attack on the torso. It's not the best welfare torso we've seen in this department, but it's definitely good. It's got the numbers for it. I'm not that, not that keen on the trait. The word tags are workable, and the stats are pretty good, at least on the torso. Yeah, it's okay, for welfare part. Arms, what do we got? The Dropnir. So yeah, this is part of its ranged weapons. It has like little, almost Gatlings in the wrist position. D-Power Magazine. He's gonna hit like a wet noodle. It also had flight capability. To be fair, like almost everything in Destiny had the flight ability. In Gundam Seed, it was much more restrained because mobile suits in general were pretty much limited to the Djinns and like some weird hybrids. It wasn't until the G weapons got stolen that mobile suits really started getting pumped out en masse. And that's where we started seeing all these things. But once Destiny hit, pretty much everything had some kind of atmospheric flight in mind. Even the stuff that was stolen from Armory 1, right? The plants in the middle of space, even they're built for atmosphere and space. So anyways, I digress. All right, for the arms. Okay, not as great as we'd hope. 2600 melee attack. For a welfare, that's okay. Definitely up there. Do keep in mind that a lot of the 4-star pick ticket melee parts easily break 3k. They go up to like 3.3k and they have really good traits and everything. But if this is like, baby's first arms, I don't see why not. The EX skill will have to be pretty much ignored though, as D-Power means it's going to hit like a wet noodle. So numerically, for welfare, it's okay. For an EX skill, terrible. And high mobility mass production. Workable tags, you can definitely make something out of them. Mass production, a little less of a use case than high mobility, but you can make it work. All right. Let's check out those legs. When attacking with beam, melee crit rate boost. So I've talked about this before. I don't like the crit rate booster stuff because we already have enough RNG in this game just trying to get the parts. Don't add on to it by making your damage RNG as well. But hey, if you want to, go for it. It just ain't my thing. At least this is all melee crit and not just like strong melee crit or something. So this will affect your neutrals, to my understanding, your melee EX as well. So be a lot worse numerically. For a set of legs in the welfare department, we're looking at about 900 shot attack. Okay. For a pair of legs, welfare is pretty good. Okay. So the stats are pretty okay. The trait, I'm not the biggest fan. That feels better. And the word tags are definitely workable. Again, not the best, not my cup of tea, but workable. All right, let's take a look at that backpack. All right, this boosts your melee damage output by a flat number. Outside of the one use case we've seen in like the last year, plus completely useless. Okay. Numerically, it's pretty much the same as the legs. Okay. The Tempest. Yeah, it's like proper sword. When one ally shot down, boost job gauge by 40% once. This is another one of those cases where I'm not the biggest fan of this. I still don't like what job gauges do. I don't think they're properly utilized. I know a lot of people do like them. I know that people use them to great effect. Not my jam. To me, this isn't that great, but who knows, maybe for you, right up your alley. But do keep in mind, it only takes effect when one ally is shot down. Meaning, you need a meat shield for this to be effective. Keep that in mind. Numerically, it's a welfare sword, and high mobility for urban area. Alright, and the shield bash. Okay, so this actually uses the weapon stored inside of the shield. B+, this is really going to depend on the animation, frankly. You do get a melee attack boost. That's pretty good, 19%, not bad for a welfare. B+ power, low cooldown, I got no complaints. But if the animation's long, locks you into something, which I'm pretty sure Shield Rush does. Alright, numerically, we're going to see a lot of shot attack carried over here. We're looking at what? That's like 650 shot attack and 500 melee. Pretty good, actually, all things considered, so. For a welfare shield, that's actually pretty okay. Cool. Cool beans. Huh. And B is going to have our, Awakening. Mass Production, Federation, Commander, Transformer, and Ford Desert. Okay. I had a lock on the Gundams. Yeah, you'd think, right? Like, they're super prototyped, highly classified, top secret suits hidden away on the space station. You'd think that they'd, put a password on them. Then again, they were just naturals. Okay. Okay, so we got the Gundam. Is this the 4th or the 6th? Okay, so we got 4th form, Musha, and the Ale Strike. Okay. None of those, no, the Barbados might be the one I'm thinking about. If that's one that came out on launch, that has its uses. Let's check real quick. Are you the one I'm thinking of? Yeah, and that's why I went right to the arms. Might be an idea for you to consider, the 4th form arms. Its trait, very easy to get. Anyways, I guess that's that. Now, gotcha. Let's go. So, we have, that's the narrative Gundam B-Packs. Nice. More narrative, just what we wanted, right? Only 6 parts, spicy. While mid-range, EX skill power boosted by 30%. Mid-range is not the most common tag. It's getting more common though as of the last, I think 4 to 5 months. We've kind of seen a larger push towards more mid-range, which is awesome. And you get an EX skill power boost. Yeah, that jives. Numerically, we're actually looking at a healthy amount of shot attack here. That's going to be what, 5,100 or so? For her not Sokai, that's pretty damn high. It comes with a Sokai tier trait. Is this really a standard? It is. That's a big think. Big think. Alright, let's take a look at the Psycom U Jack. Alright. So this is just a wide range debuff. So melee and shot attack down, melee and shot defense down. Is this a double stacking melee down? Because that would be nasty. And based on the way that this reads out, that looks like that's exactly what this is. So, this is spicy. Ooh. I can get on board with that. Screw melee. Alright, numerically. Okay. So we're looking at about 2300 shot attack, which for a torso that's not Sokai, that's friggin' awesome. It's got a healthy amount of armor on there too, and a token amount of melee attack. Federation mid-range. I got no complaints here. For a standard suit, shit's solid, man. Alright, let's take a look at the arms. Oh, integrated with an EX skill. Alright, boys, without looking, what power rating do you think this EX skill is going to be? I'm 100% saying it's going to be D power. Let's see. Wow, it's B+, but it's not a magazine. Workable. When I saw the integrated, I was really concerned. That's pretty good. Okay, so. Very low cooldown, obviously not a cutscene. B+ power, physical shot. Good combination. It will boil down to, though, as this is firing missiles. Is this a pseudo cutscene? Is this a standard, just fire and forget? How much homing are on the missiles? What's the blast radius? Is it just going to hit your target and do that? How long are you locked into the animation for? We'll find out when we go watch the Twitter videos, but I'm being nitpicky. Alright, arms. I do remember the numbers are going to be extremely high because this is an integrated part. Those always give really, really high stats in comparison to normal parts because it is taking up 2 slots instead of just the 1. So what are we looking at here? Okay. So 5,100 shot attack. That'll easily break 10k once it's, marked and shit. Total, at least it should. Let me see. 6, 11, that's 3 change. Nope, 9k. It gets there. Alteration will definitely push it past. Alright. So if you ever wanted shot defense in a build, this is going to be it. In the melee department, it's extremely weak. But in the shot department, it has an excessive amount of shot attack on it. I got no complaints. Yeah, nice. Federation, mid-range, potentially good EX skill too. Gotta say, those arms are pretty great. Alright, let's take a look at your legs, son. Check out those legs. Double saber combo. I believe we've seen this before, and it locks you into a terrible animation. I'll pass. Alright. So we got Federation and Pro Tag. Very interesting choice of word tags on this one. Both of them are good for different build types, but you know what? You got your options. Numerically, we're looking at about 2k shot attack. Alright, and we're looking at about 1900, 1950 melee. For a set of legs? What the fuck? Yeah, that's actually what it feels like. You're not wrong, Knight. Looking at the numbers, just the numbers alone, this seriously feels like a Sokai suit that got just labeled as a standard as they pushed it out the door. Very interesting. I will also note that some of the traits do have that ringing tone of Sokai. Its head, for example, that is the trait you expect to see on a Sokai part. Here it is. Very interesting. Alright, let's check out the backpack. The same story as the legs. What the fuck are with these stats, man? Like, for the part slot that it takes up, these numbers are just too damn high. New year, new power creep. B-, low cooldown. Okay, and it's beam. I'll have to see the animation for this. Yeah, Federation Pro Tag again. It's got good stats. Okay. And it's Beam Saber, while Federation initial EX skill charge boosted. Okay, so it's really only going to benefit shot builds because Federation's a shot tag. You could use it on a melee suit, but I don't know why you'd want to throw away a potential useful third tag for Federation. But hey, you do you, man. Don't let me tell you what to do. Numerically, it's a beam sword. Okay. So the trait's okay. You know, definitely something you can work into builds. The tags, all right, sure, what the heck. Stat wise, it's actually more of a standard beam saber than anything. Okay. Well, that was a very interesting suit. All right, so let's take a look at our pilots. All right. Carius Auto. Defender. Okay. For a 3-star pilot, he's pretty good. As a pilot, Xeon mass production, workable tags with power attribute, all crit rate boosted. Okay. So I guess it really depends on the kind of playstyle you want to go for. If you want to go in on the crits, this is all crit rate. Doesn't get much nicer than that. But the rest of them, at least thematically he's on point, but yikes. I don't know if the anniversary suits are actually going to be nuts. I have a feeling that they're actually, the real nutso stuff is going to come from the build projects. Okay, here's my thing, okay? We're going to get to the anniversary, and we're going to get another fat anniversary suit drop. Like one of those, like, holy crap, I can't believe this has such crazy stats numbers and everything kind of deal. And what they're going to do is they're also going to slide in a top tier build project. Maybe multiple build projects. And I'm really concerned about that part. That's the part that gets me. Because build projects are excessively difficult to get in comparison to normal gacha stuff. On top of that, we're typically able to bullseye limited parts in the future. Not the case for build project parts outside of, like, I think 2 banners we've had since the game's launch where we've been able to obtain build project parts outside of making them. So anyways, back to what we were doing. Europa Dogati. Supporter, okay. Numerically, she's got a good amount of shot attack. Doesn't put her anywhere near the top. With power attribute, EX skill recovery boosted. Okay. Do keep in mind that means that any EX skill that recovers does 28% more. Not cooldown, as it means recovery. Again, this is more bad wording. High firepower support type. So the character has a very skewed kit, but as a supporter, not bad. Has some numbers, has a trait that's really useful for supporters, and has tags that are flexible for a supporter. So as a supporter, she does pretty good. Okay. I'm okay with this. So, next up, we're going to check out the Twitter videos. You know what I think I might do? I think what I'm gonna do to make my life easier, let me see if I already have one in here. It doesn't look like I do. Give me just a second here, guys. We don't want that. Wait, oh no, I don't want that. Delete. Yes, completely delete that source. I actually want a window capture, not a browser source. Don't mind me, I'm just big dumb. That should be it, is it not? Come on, no, this is very useful. Add a new source. One, two. Perfect. Why am I doing this, you may ask? Because it makes my life easier. Don't mind it. Perfect. Look at that. On the fly. Okay. So, where is our buddy? Right, I need to refresh because I opened that page forever ago. So, let's see what we get. Okay. Okay. So that's a straight non-homing. Oh, that animation's terribly long. I don't really know how to feel about those. So, like, hey, mute. Like, okay. So, the awakening, or I guess the debuff, who cares? That's standard. Super quick, easy. Then we have the missiles. It seems to fire 2 missiles that are just dumbfire straight. Then we have this. This is just a needlessly long animation. Locks you into it, and if you whiff it, you're kind of wasting time. That incom one, I don't really know how to feel about. Because the distance that your shots have to travel while you're locked into that, it seems like a demerit. Like a hard demerit. So the missiles are okay. I'll say the animation on that's okay, because at least it's quick, it's to the point. Those missiles are probably going to get a good distance. That leg EX skill, completely off the table. That animation, I absolutely hate. That is just too much. This one, I'm on the fence about, really. And I'm just talking animation-wise, mind you. I'm not even talking about, like, the numbers it's doing or anything, so. You're ranged and you're zoning while firing. Here's the problem. What happens if the enemy doesn't flinch? What happens if there's more than one enemy? What happens if the enemy dodges? We don't know. Especially that third one, because we don't know, because the enemy's standing still. We don't actually see what the response is. Does it just fire in front of you to a set point? Because we know that there are some EX skills that do that, where it just, the actual impact points to judge distance in front of you. I'm going to assume it has some tracking to it, and it will, aim at its target and fire. But there's too many what ifs about its actual interactions, and I think it's just too long of an animation for what it actually does. In a one-on-one scenario, it's probably going to be okay, but outside of that, I'd say it's more of a risk. It's not as bad as the legs, not by far, but alright. Well, you've served your purpose. Alright, time to beat my head against the wall as I look at all the alterations. Those are old. Okay. Oh. Wait a second. Are there no alterations for me to look over today? There's no way. This has to be one of those reruns, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Never be easy. Alright. So, we'll start off with the Barbados 6th, and then we'll move on to the full city. Also, just for anyone that's new, hasn't watched my stuff before, when it comes to looking at the alterated forms of suits, I just look at the EX skill or the trait, because we all know the numbers are going to go up. The word tags don't change. The only thing that really matters is the trait or EX skill changes. If you have a ton of alteration tools available, you do whatever the hell you want. But if you're someone that has limited amounts of tools on hand, you might want to pay a little attention to what actually gets added in this, because it can really change the value of a part. But hey, if you like a suit, you like a suit. I think you can stop fearing the alteration section now. At most, you do 5 suits during a welfare rerun. You say that. But I know the second I let my guard down, they're going to bring in like 25 suits from early game that they haven't touched yet. I know it. I'm waiting. I'm ready. I don't want to be ready, but I'll be ready. So, let's take a look at the Barbados 6th. With blade category equipped, EX skill damage, it's a flat number. No thanks. With speed attribute, recover 200 armor gradually. That sounds like a big number on paper. This part alone, the head, has 1500 armor. So you would have to wait for more than 7 ticks just for this single piece, the single piece's armor value to be restored. Yeah, I really shouldn't have to explain to you why this is completely friggin' useless. Okay, what do we got here? Torso. Defender job. Shooting damage, flat number. Shot damage raised by 10%. Okay, so that second trait's actually pretty decent. Just in case you're really curious about the word choice, shot damage raised 10% means you take 10% more shot damage. Descriptive, I know. And you get a melee power boost. Honestly, it's a great trait if you're a melee machine. Just don't get hit. Arms. 170mm autocannon. Okay, so we have another ARM Magazine EX with B power. Should be noted this does have A- pierce, so it will hit pretty hard and ignore a good chunk of your enemy's resistances. But it's just kind of another one of many at this point. It used to be refreshing when it was new, but now it just feels like an abused trope, you know? Defender job, EX skill piercing boosted. Already talked about this. With speed attribute, EX skill power boosted. Really easy to activate the speed attribute. 5 parts, you're off to the races. Okay, you know, play ball with that. The first one I'm not really the biggest fan of because it does require you to have the defender job. Do keep in mind that your job license does determine what your battle action is, whether it's being able to defend, charge your job gauge, whatever your job license allows you to do. Defender also does not give you stat boosts, so because if you're an infighter or mid fighter, you get a boost to your melee. If you are a mid shooter or long shooter, you get a boost to your shot attack, and if you're a defender, you get a boost to, I believe it's your just defensive values, not your armor. And I can't remember for the life of me what supporter does stat-wise. I know all-rounder doesn't do anything, but anyways. Defender's really not that great for what it does here because it boosts your EX skill piercing, but frankly, really shouldn't be using a defender on a suit that you're using offensively anyways, unless you're really desperate to stop things from hitting you. Oh, it is armor with defender? Okay. It's been so long since I slotted a defender. Ever since Mikazuki, the OG Mikazuki was added. I think that was the last time I worried about defender pilots. Alright. The Bloody Wrench becomes S. Cool. You get a 48% heal and a 39% melee attack boost. That is the 3rd highest offensive percent boost in the game. That's pretty great. The heal is really nice. S power, no complaints. Give them the old wrenching, boys. And the weapon, Wrench Mace. The Mace Rush, A-, 24% melee defense boost. It's nice it gets a power boost. Can't really say much about the melee defense, though. Like, it's an upgrade, that's for sure. Alright, and let's take a look at Mr. Full City. Max Mark the Mace. Okay, fine. Come on. Like, it's great that it breaks the 11k mark, but like, look at what you trade. Spoiler, you trade everything for that. Of course. You know, one of my favorite things to say, don't get hit, but is like maybe 1,000 or so melee attack extra really worth tossing away everything else? Chew on that one. Now, back to what we were doing here. The Gundam Gyujin Full City Rebake Full City. With 2 enemies shot down, EX skill power boosted. So this does have some limitations on it, primarily. You do need to shoot down 2 enemies, so anything that's 1-on-1 or has less than 3 enemies, this is completely worthless. The EX skill power boost is nice. When attacking with physical, EX skill power boosted. We have a veritable slew of available physical EX skills. So, you'll have no problem here. You'll have no problem there. Well, it doesn't matter if it's a 4-star part or a 5-star part. It all comes down to what's readily available to us, right? Although it is a part I can go to the exchange for right now and grab. I don't have to wait for a Sokai. I don't have to use haro chips on. I get the 11k attack. Cool. However, the second a good Sokai weapon becomes available, the mace is kind of useless. Like, oh no, I'm gonna lose a 1,000 maybe melee attack. Thing is, you gain 2 very powerful, potentially very powerful word tags, which I guess really isn't that big of a deal. You'll get a better EX skill or a trait, and the numbers are going to be offensively more or less the same, but you'll get a bunch of other stuff on top of it. I get what you mean, for sure. You know, it's a non-limited part, pretty good for what it is, but it throws away too much, I think, for what it is. Now, Rebake Full City. As I was saying, we have a lot of options for physical EX skills. That second trait's going to be really useful. The first one really depends on the content you're playing and whether or not there's going to be at least 3 enemies for you to show the business end of your weapon. Or so. While mid-range, EX skill power boosts by 30%. Yeah! Leg parts EX skill power boosts by 35%. Double yeah! There are so many good leg EX skills, especially in the shot department, right? First thing that comes to mind, Ziphius Rail Cannon from the Freedom or the Strike Freedom. You have, for free options, you have the Wing Gundam Fenice or whatever. It's legs, right? It's Meteor Hopper, I think it was, whatever its EX skill is. You have options. So, cool. Or so good. Or so much good. Very wow. Thing is, the reason I didn't list Bisect is because it doesn't benefit from the mid-shot word tag. Or the mid-range, whatever, the word tag. Because that's a shot word tag, right? That's why I was using shot examples instead of melee. Regarding the builder's training, if you read the notices, it's been up for a few days now. Due to a known bug, they've actually removed the submit button so people stop losing builder's points when completing. So, anyways, the arms. Arm-mounted rocket cannon. 7 magazine, B+ power. For an alteration, that seems almost a little lackluster, because typically you'd either see the magazine pumped up to 11, or the power raised up and the magazine pumped up, but only seeing what I assume is the power being raised, it feels a little hollow, you know? But, can't argue with the end result. It is a B+ power magazine, does have 7 shots. Okay. Legs. Scissor variable rear armor. Okay, well, there's your big one. You get a 49% melee attack boost. That is the second highest available modifier in the game for boosts. And it says power. No complaints. Cutscene. Solid. Sub-arm railgun. A-B+. Okay. So... okay. It's got B+ power. I've never used this EX skill myself. I don't recall ever seeing someone use it before. Just do keep in mind that outside of magazine skills, B+ power EX skills are very, very different. Some of them do great damage, some of them don't, and it purely depends on the EX skill. This could be very good because I don't see a reason why when there's a B+ power, low cooldown, non-cutscene. A- Pierce, and like a truck. On paper, it could be one of those B+ EX skills that hits like a... yeah, well, on paper it looks good. Gun. We got a railgun. It's a railgun, chief. When armor is 60% or more, enemy AX skill power reduced. Okay. Melee damage raised 10%, shooting power boosted. Alright, well, it is a weapon. A beam weapon, particularly, you know, your long-range weapon slot, so that second trait's pretty good. That first trait... honestly, I'm going to say it's not that bad when you take into account the second trait that's there. The second trait does make up for a lot of the problems I have with the first trait, but at least the first trait does something useful instead of, you know, recover 200 armor gradually or something. At least it's, you know, you reduce your enemy EX skill power as long as, you know, you have a good chunk of armor on you. That could be the difference between getting one shot or not, but the second trait's good. I'd say overall, though, yeah, situational, far from the worst. It's a good way to think about it. And lastly, the shield. Well, Gundam type, flat damage, who cares? Well, technique attribute, buff EX skill effect up. So someone told me that this is actually additive, not multiplicative. So, for example, the 49% buff we saw on the previous EX skill would actually go up to 79%. Which I think is really stupid. And I hope that, you know, they're wrong. But something tells me they're not. If it's additive, it's good. If it's not additive, then crap. But the first trait, I think, that's completely worthless, and I don't think anyone can argue otherwise. Okay. Well, with that, guys, gone over all the new content. It looks like we're all good to go. Good timing, midnight. Well, it's been nice doing this, nice hanging out. And, yeah, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to enter the giveaway if you haven't yet. The actual draws for that are going to happen a week from now during my live stream. So if you haven't entered, I do have a video on my YouTube channel talking about the giveaway, what's in the box number 2. Check it out, enter, takes like a couple of seconds, and you could win a $25 gift card to spend on Haro or whatever. So anyways, thanks guys, and see you in the next one.